Dear students, I have come with a new module. This is an important module in income tax. It's residential status. I have divided it into 3 modules. In the first module, I will give you theoretical explanation and one problem. Other 2 modules are designed for solving the problems. So this will give you a clear clarity about residential status computation, and it is an important point from the point of view of examination. So we will go to module 8, residential status part 1. So why residential status is important in taxation? It's very important. That meaning, you might have heard about the term resident, non-resident, not ordinarily resident, the new term deemed resident. So why it is important in taxation? First is, it determines the taxability of global income. It is not necessary that a person is getting income only from India. He may be getting income from other countries also. So this decides the taxability of the global income. Second is, it affects tax planning. We can do the tax planning and return filing. Income tax return filing is also decided on the basis of whether he is a resident, non-resident, not ordinarily resident, deemed resident. Different forms they have to use. Next is impacts exemptions and deductions. Exemptions and deductions. Exemptions meaning certain items are not included in the income tax. It will not be included in computing the tax liability. Best example is agricultural income derived from India. Deduction meaning deductions from 80C to 80U. So we have to remember, if the resident, not ordinarily resident, non-resident, deemed resident, the exemptions they can claim and the deductions they can claim are different. Then guides compliance requirements. What are the compliance? Compliance in terms of paying advance tax, return filing, reporting your foreign income, all these different compliances are there for income tax department. Then avoids double taxation. Now why double taxation? Double taxation. Same income can be taxed in 2 different countries. This all can be avoided. So residential status is important for 5 reasons. One is, it decides the taxability, global taxability. It will affect your tax planning and filing returns, income tax returns. Different forms you have to use. Then exemptions and deductions can be claimed based on the residential status. Then decides the tax compliance with the income tax department. Then it avoids double taxation. Now let us see the diagrammatic representation. See representation, it's very important. If you see resident, this is the heading, resident. This is section 6. Resident can be divided into resident, non-resident and deemed resident. So this is the first classification. Resident is divided into resident itself, non-resident, deemed resident. This resident is divided into ordinary resident and not ordinarily resident. So it's very important. If you get this classification, you call it as resident and ordinarily resident. If you get this classification, you call it as resident and not ordinarily resident. Now, some important points here to remember regarding residential status. Residential status is determined for each previous year, because it's quite possible that sometimes we may travel to other country. So if you are not falling into the category of resident, for 1 year you may be a non-resident or a not ordinary resident. So residential status will change. So residential status we calculate for each previous year. Now residential status can change for different previous years. It's quite possible different residential status you will get for different previous years if you are traveling or if you are living in other countries. Then dual residential status is possible based on the arrangement with other countries, the agreement signed by the countries, that dual residential status is possible. Same residential status for all sources of income. One residential status will calculate that will be applicable for all sources of income. That is the 5 heads of income. Now, next point is residential status for individuals. You have to remember 2 basic conditions are there. 2 basic conditions are there. That is given under section 6 subsection 1. This is very important section. Then deemed resident. One additional condition is introduced, that is 6(1)(a). 6(1)(a) and 2 additional conditions for residential status computation. So additional conditions, section 6(1)(a). So deemed resident also another additional condition was added. Actually there were only 2 additional conditions. When deemed residential status was introduced, they added 1 more additional condition. So these are the important sections and the conditions are very important. So first one is, what is the basic condition? It's very important you have to remember. An individual who fulfills any of the 2 basic conditions is called a resident under the provisions of the Income Tax Act. So if he will fulfill 2 basic conditions, he will be a resident. So first basic condition is he should be in India for 182 days or more in the current previous year. You know that our previous year is 24 April 1st to 25 March 31st. So within this period, 182 days he should have lived in India. Second basic condition has 2 parts. One is he should have been in India for 60 days. In the relevant previous year. Relevant previous year is this year. Plus, he should have been in India for 365 days or more in the 4 immediately preceding previous years. Immediately preceding previous years means previous years. This is 24-25 is the current previous year. So 23-24, 22-23, 21-22, 20-21. These 4 years he should have lived in India for 365 days. So this is the base. These are the 2 basic conditions. So first one is in the relevant previous year he should have lived in India for 182 days or more. Second basic condition has got 2 parts. One is 60 days he should have lived in this current previous year plus 365 days or more during the 4 immediately preceding previous years. Now there are certain exceptions they are giving for the 60 days. People who travel frequently. Indian citizens who are leaving India for permanent employment. Migration to other countries is quite common. Or a person of an Indian crew ship, then he is leaving as a crew of an Indian ship. Second is Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin who is living outside India who comes to visit India during the previous year. Those people living in other countries, sometimes they may come for treatment, sometimes they may come to attend family functions, sometimes they may come for business activities. So that is the second category. In all these cases, instead of the 60 days, they have to live in India for 182 days. So they will get some additional advantage. So they will not come in the residential status category. 60 days up to 182 days they can stay in India. All other cases, second basic condition, we are allowing them exception only of 60 days. For these category of people, that is people migrating to other countries, people of Indian origin, those who are working as crew of an Indian ship and their ship will be going to other countries. Then persons, NRIs already living in other countries. So instead of 60 days, this will be 182 days. When you will do the problem, you will be able to understand. Now some important points you have to remember. This is very important for calculation. Meaning of stay in India can be anywhere in the geographical boundaries of India. Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, anywhere. Stay in India need not be continuous. It's not necessary that continuously you have to live for 60 days or 182 days. You can enter India, you can leave India, then leave after some time again you can re-enter, like that it's possible. Its stay need not be at one place. Sometimes you may live in the house, sometimes you may stay in the resort, sometimes you may stay in a hospital. Anywhere you can stay. Object of stay is not important. Whether you are coming for official purpose or personal purpose, we are not bothered. Whether you are in India, in the Indian territory, that is what we calculate. Day of arrival and day of leaving. So if I arrive in India on this day, that means 13th August. That meaning this day will be counted. If you are going on 20th August, that 20th also will be counted for counting this 60 days, 182 days and all. Next is third basic condition for the deemed resident. Deemed resident is a new concept they have introduced from assessment year 21-22. Citizens of India, those who are NRIs, but they are having income from Indian income. That is total income other than income from foreign sources. That meaning they have Indian income exceeding rupees 15 lakhs. They will be considered as deemed resident. So he is not liable to, and he is not paid tax for that income in any other country. Say for example, if a person living in Gulf, he has Indian income, rental income or anything business income in India. He has not paid tax in Gulf because there so many exceptions are there. Some of the countries they are not charging tax at all. Income tax is not introduced there. So they are not paying tax anywhere. So for their Indian income they have to pay tax. They will come under this category deemed resident. Now deemed resident, section 6(1)(a). I already told you this is introduced from assessment year 21-22. Individuals whose total income other than income from foreign sources exceeds 15 lakhs during the previous year. That means their Indian income, they have Indian income exceeding 15 lakhs, shall be treated as a resident of India if their stay in the relevant previous year is 182 days or more. So here you have to remember basic condition 60 days we have mentioned. Certain cases instead of 60 we are giving them exemption for 182 days. In this case deemed resident, they are living in India for 182 days or more. Then 365 days or more during the 4 immediately preceding previous years. That condition is same. Now additional conditions here is to remember. Section 6(6). He was a non-resident in India for 9 previous years out of, this is 9 out of 10 previous years. It's very important, he is a resident. He was a resident in India. He was a resident in India for 9 out of 10 preceding previous years. Now your current previous year is 24-25. So 10 years meaning 23-24, 22-23, 21-22, 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 16-17, 15-16, 14-15. These 10 years. In any this years, 9 years he has to be a resident. It is not necessary that students always will make this mistake. They say that he lived in India for 9 out of 10 years. That's not correct. He has to be a resident. We are going to learn the computation of resident. Only I have mentioned the conditions. Then he was in India for a period aggregating in all to 729 days or more during 7 years. See, this 10 preceding previous years we have included. Now up to here 729 days or more. That means 730 days. The basic condition we have learned 365 days. Double of that is 730. That is how I always remember that. So basic condition, he has to be a resident in India for 9 out of 10 preceding previous years. Second, 729 days or more in the 7 immediately preceding previous years. Basic condition we are talking about 4 immediately preceding previous years. Additional condition we are talking about 7 immediately preceding previous years. Now criteria for deciding residential status. Resident and ordinarily resident meaning he has to satisfy one basic condition plus both the additional conditions. Second, resident and not ordinarily resident. One basic plus one or none of the additional conditions. Non-resident meaning he is not satisfying any of the basic conditions. This is very important. Resident and ordinarily resident, one basic plus both the additional. Resident and not ordinarily resident meaning one basic plus one or none of the additional conditions. Non-resident meaning is not satisfying any of the basic conditions. Well, simple problem we will do. So here you have to remember it's a very simple problem. Other modules I have included difficult problems. Mr. A lived in India for 26 continuous years. That meaning he was resident all the 26 years and went to England on April 1st, 2024. April 1st he went. He came back April 1st, 2024 he went to England. So our current previous year is April 1st, 24 to 31st March 25. Now he returned to India on 15th February 25. 15th February 2025. So this is our previous year. So how many days he was there in India? That is what we have to calculate. So question is, he returned to India on 15th February. What is his residential status for the assessment year 25-26? If this is the previous year, the 25-26 is your assessment year. The continuing year will be the assessment year. Now how you calculate? Say 15th February he has come to India. All these days he was not there. So day of arrival and day of leaving should be considered. So 15 February, you have to see whether it's a leap year or not. 2025 is not a leap year. So in 2025 leap year meaning 29 days will be there for February. Each day is important. So calculation, you have to see whether February is there meaning it's a leap year or not. 2025 is not a leap year. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So February he was there for 14 days. Plus March he was there. March full 31 days. So how many days he lived? 45 days. 45 days only he was there in India for the previous 45 days he was there in India in the previous year. That meaning it's not satisfying the basic condition. Basic condition is 182 days or more in the previous year. Then second basic condition, 60 days he should have been there. Then 365 days in the immediately preceding previous years. This condition 182 days he has not fulfilled. Basic condition, first part itself he has not fulfilled. So they need not consider the second part. So this is how you will say that he is a non-resident. So this is very important. This is a simple problem. Just I want to explain this. He is a non-resident. We will do more problems and which all steps you can skip and all. When you need to get speed for completing the paper on 10. So how you skip the problems and all you will learn by practice only. So when you do more problems you will learn that which all sections you can. Need not do all the steps. One or two problems you will do all the steps, then you will automatically remember. So that is how we are going to do that. So this is what I wanted to explain in this module. Happy learning. Thank you.